Welcome to another episode of the Two-Fiddy, week 2 on my quest to watch all 250 films from the IMDB Top 250 Films list. From bottom to top, I'm going to rank them every step of the way, and by the end of it, I'm going to have my own personal Frank's Top 250 Films list. But on to this week, the 1984 film Paris, Texas, starring Harry Dean Stanton, and it's got some fairly high critical acclaim. It's got a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, based on 28 reviews, scoring, I believe, an 8.3 out of 10. And it sits on the IMDb list at 249, so I will see how I rank it when it's all said and done. So join me after the film for my thoughts, and I guess a review and all that sort of jazz, all that sort of good stuff. That's why you're watching this video, I guess. Right, so Paris, Texas. It's a very good film. I sense a running theme out of these 250 films. Chances are, if they're in the top 250 films list on IMDb, they're all probably going to be pretty good. And you know what? It starts off quite surreal almost. Harry Dean Stanton is just sort of walking through the desert, not saying a word, and then he passes out and he wakes up in sort of this almost kooky situation with like a weird doctor who sounds like he's German or something. I was sort of set up from that point to think this might be a really surreal sort of film. But in reality, it turned into a very sort of grounded, emotional movie. Basically, Harry Dean Stanton plays this character who we don't know anything about. He's a mystery. And then we find out Dean Stockwell, or Al from Quantum Leap, his brother, gets word that he's just wandering about. So he goes and finds him, and they go on a little car ride, and a little bit of time passes, and Harry Dean Stanton comes along, he opens up, he starts talking, goes back with his brother, and he's just sort of chilling out at their house. But his brother and his brother's wife have been raising Harry Dean Stanton's son since he disappeared, because his wife had disappeared as well. So, like, you know, this whole thing happens, he starts bonding, opening up, getting more in touch with his son, and then they go on a journey to find his mother, and it's not a conventional journey at all. You find yourself rooting for Harry Dean Stanton, and as the film goes on, you sort of get that gut feeling like, I don't think this is going to work out in the end, and it sort of ends on a bit of a downer. There's some happiness to be found, but there's a lot of sort of fractured relationships that happen because of it. Harry Dean Stanton, tour de force in this. Like, he's, for spending the first, 15 minutes of the film as basically a mute, he's got some great bits of dialogue, some great scenes, especially, there's a scene toward the end, a couple scenes where he is on one side of a two-way mirror speaking to his estranged wife, and just powerful stuff. The cinematography, there's some great shots, especially with the two-way mirror. Obviously, shooting a film in the American Southwest, if you can't get good vista shots and things like that, then you're a shitty cameraman, shitty cinematographer. Yeah, so a much different film than the last film I watched. I don't know, where would I put this? It's sort of hard. It's only 2 films now, and it's already hard. I'm used to Harry Dean Stanton being a bit of a bit player, and a great character actor, but not really carrying a film on his own. And to watch him just carry this film, it was just amazing to see. He's a great actor, and I look forward to him popping up in a few more of these films along the line. Ratings-wise, like I said, there's only 2 films I've watched so far, but Paris, Texas moves up to the top of the list as my new number 1 film, followed second now by lagging Once Upon a Time in India. It's a long title, it's hard to think of. It's going to get confusing with all these numbers eventually. Next week, I'll watch the next film on the IMDb Top 250 list, and I shall update my Frank's Two-Fiddy list accordingly. So we'll see you then. Well, there you go, another episode of the Two-Fiddy. Great stuff, wasn't it? You can check out the first episode of the Two-Fiddy right up here. It's a good one. It's a Bollywood film about cricket. Who would have thought? And then if you click this thing, you can watch some stuff about video games. Because we play video games here at Filmageddon as well. It's a fun time. You should do it. Oh yeah, and subscribe. Hopefully I'm looking at something that says subscribe. You should subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. See you next time.